Hey coaches, Dave Schmidt here, aka Coach Super Dave. This video is all about tracking your business, okay? Monitoring your daily tasks, your weekly goals, yada yada, making sure you're on task. Now, if that seems like a lot of work, it's necessary, okay? It's a way to measure your progress, to see your strengths and your weaknesses, okay? It's sort of like counting calories. You could have a customer or you yourself, yeah, you could do the program, you can show up, you can press play and do it awesome every day. But if you don't know exactly what you're eating, if you're not on a plan, whether you're counting calories or counting portions, if you don't know, you're guessing, okay? So you can't do the same thing to your business. You can't come to me and say, well, yeah, I'm finding people and I'm inviting people, but you really don't know. And had we been tracking it that week, you could go back and be like, oh yeah, I only invited 5 people this entire week. That's lower than my minimum goal, okay? So it's really important to track. Now, a great start is the business tracker, which is in your Coach Online office. Just start with that, okay? So when you download that form, you'll see different entries. You know, every day you do your workout, check it off. Shakeology, check it off. Did I invite people? Okay. There's a digital form. You can do it on pen and paper, whatever. Okay. So that's a great start. I will say that on that business tracker, you want to add a column, which is Shakeology trial packs. That is a huge part of our huge part of our business. And I will get to the Shakeology trial packs, I promise, soon. But you want to track. My goal is 4 trial packs a month. I want to sell 4 sample sets of Shakeology every month because it's so critical to finding new customers, Shakeology customers or coaches or both. Okay, so you want to add that. Now, over the years, I've created my own tracking list. And let me back up a little bit. Besides the business tracker, there's so many different ways you can track your business. You can use a dry erase board. You can do paper and pencil, you can use Google Drive, Excel sheets, whatever. Find what works for you. That's what's the most important. What is gonna work the best for you, okay? So, over the years, I personally have changed. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tweaked this, I've tweaked that. I have come up with what I believe to be the ultimate tracker, and I would be happy to share it to you. And I give this to you as merely an example, okay? My tracker sheet, now I'm just gonna show it to you here. Okay, if you're squinting, okay, I'm gonna show some bigger ones, okay? But over here, I got the names, I got when I followed up with them, and all the different things I can invite to. Let me give you a closer up, okay? Stop squinting, jeez. Okay, so here's a closer up. So, I got all the names of my customers, I got colors. Red means they're hot, okay? They're like so ready to order. Yellow means I could get some Success Club points from them. And then I have a notes section, keeping notes on whoever I meet. And then I have columns. I got last follow-up. When's the last time I followed up with them? When's the last time they responded to me? Now that's important because I sort this every day, pretty much. I sort this entire sheet by last follow-up. And I do that because I can go down my list and find out who it's been 3 days since I followed up with. This is an excellent way to not lose track of the people you talk to, because remember, follow-up is one of the vital behaviors. That closes the circle. If you don't follow up with people, then you just got this little half moon and you're not connecting them to Beachbody or a particular product. So by sorting by dates of when I last followed up with them, then I can see like towards the bottom of this list, oh man, it's been 5 days since I talked to Betty. Okay, and I can go back. Now the other half of this is invites, okay? Now, and one of my vital behaviors, I explained there's so many things you can invite to, okay? Here's an example. You can invite people to a support group. Wait, what do I mean by that? If somebody doesn't even know what Beachbody is, they're not gonna know what a challenge group is. So I just make it really general, okay? So let's say I'm not even talking about Beachbody, and someone's like, well, yeah, I've tried going to the gym and doing stuff like that. I'm like, well, have you ever considered being part of a support group? No, I haven't. Okay, so that kind of introduces into Beachbody. But anyway, the general idea is there's so many things you can invite to. You can invite to an actual challenge group, support group, sample of Shakeology, sample of Beachbody performance, results in recovery, to be a coach. All these things here, because I realize not only is inviting important, but there's so many different things you can invite to. Now, Beachbody always says invite 2 people a day, like that's your minimum. Personally, I don't go by a minimum quantity. I focus on the person. So when I have a prospect or a customer, my goal is to invite them to every single thing I could possibly do. I mean, especially if they're a challenge member, I want to invite them to everything. If someone says, oh man, I'm having such a hard time getting up in the morning and doing my workout, well, have you ever considered doing energy and endurance, E&E? Or someone says, oh man, I'm always sore and everything, what's up with that? Have you ever considered doing results and recovery, post-workout? And someone says, oh, I'm always in a rush, I need to eat healthy. Have you ever considered to use Shakeology? You see where I'm getting at? So what this does is it helps me keep track of what I've invited them to, because you want to invite the shiznit. You want to invite the maximum amount of Beachbody stuff for every single contact you have, okay? Don't just settle for inviting to a program and inviting to a challenge group. There's so much more to that, okay? So my goal, again, is to invite every contact to everything I can think of. Now, sometimes I'll go back and invite them again. Like sometimes I'll be in a conversation and someone's still talking about they're struggling with a diet, and I want to invite them to Shakeology, and I go over and I look and I go, oh, I already invited them to Shakeology. So then I'll go back and I'll find out why they didn't want Shakeology, and they say, oh, well, money's a little tight. And I can use that in conversations, and say like, a week ago you said money was kind of tight. You don't have to pay full price when you order Shakeology. Or I'll just try and sell them a Shakeology trial pack, just to sample it. So I might go back to it. But anyway, my invite sheet is awesome. I love it. It may not work for you, but if you want it, you can have it. Now I have it through Google Drive, through the Google Sheets, which is kind of like Microsoft Excel. And so that way I can access it from anywhere, and I like to print it out. So I'll do it by hand sometimes, and then I'll go back in, enter it into the computer, whatever, find out what works for you. But inviting's awesome. Now at the top here, I say, have you ever, okay? This part's really important. Let me slow down a little bit. Janelle Summers, who is Shalene's sister, by the way, she came up with this have you ever X, okay? This is a little psychological mind play. It makes things a little bit less, it disarms the person a little bit. Let me explain. If you say, would you like to try Shakeology? If someone says no, then they attach that no to trying Shakeology. If you say, have you ever considered using Shakeology? If they say no, they're not saying no to Shakeology. They're just saying no to the thought of using Shakeology. Sounds a little bit weird, but what it does is it keeps them in the conversation. If you say, have you want to try Shakeology? They say no, that kind of shuts it down. They put up a wall of sorts, whether it's conscious or subconscious. But if you say, have you ever considered using Shakeology? And they say no, they're still in their conversation with you. You can still keep it going. So, again, really important. Whenever you invite, you repeat after me. I will always use the phrase, have you ever considered X? Every single time. That's why I have it on top of my invite, so I don't forget. And I literally do sometimes. Not so much anymore, but have you ever? So have you ever considered using Shakeology to enhance your goals? Have you ever considered using results and recovery after your workout? Have you ever? Always use that phrase, okay? So, inviting, that's my prospect list, okay? So this works for me. Find out what works for you. Another thing that you should keep track of is your challenge members, okay? If you're an effective coach, what you want to do, what I like to do, my basic blueprint of a challenge member is I get them set up with their calorie goal. Screw the guides. The guides just put them in a little category. Unless they're following the 21-day portion plan, that's a little bit different. But old school is to go with counting calories. And I'll just use the calorie tool at Team Beachbody. So I set them up with a calorie goal, and I have a separate list with different columns. Have they taken their before photo? Have they taken their measurements? Do they know the calorie goal? Things like that. And I keep track of them because once a week I do what's called Statter Day, where I ask them to check in with me, or usually I check in with them and find out how they did during the week. We know how many pounds have they lost, how's their energy, stuff like that. Just a simple check-in. So I have a separate sheet that's just for my challenge members, okay? Again, if you don't have people on a list, you're not gonna follow up with them because you can't remember everything that's going on with our busy lives and things like that. It's human nature to not be able to remember everything unless you have like a photographic memory, okay? So that's why you keep track of things. And so you follow up. So, invite list, you can do all sorts of lists, whatever works for you, but you gotta have a prospect list, at the very least, just a generic prospect list of people you're talking to. But as with this invite list that I've been showing you, I merged it. It's a prospect list and invite list all in one, which I think works excellent. So Anywho, I kind of went on long ways about, or talked at length about that. You don't have to use mine. You can start with the business tracker from Beachbody, or just simply create your own dry erase board. I don't care, whatever. Find out what works for you, and keep track, because that's how you're gonna know how well you're doing this business, what you need to do. And it's kind of like an analyzer too, because you can look back and find out, you were very successful week. Why is that? Oh, that's because I had double the invites that I had the week before, stuff like that. So get your list together, okay? So that's what's gonna keep you organized and focused on your business.